Hello, everyone. Today's story is about a single question, a question so powerful, so audacious, that it persuaded a titan of industry to abandon his throne and join a rebellion. It is a story about the art of persuasion, the allure of a great mission, and the tragic irony that often accompanies brilliant decisions. In 1983, Apple was a fast-growing, chaotic teenager of a company. It had passion, it had genius, but the board felt it lacked discipline. It needed, in their words, adult supervision. Steve Jobs, at 28, agreed. He set his sights on the very best, John Sculley, the marketing wizard who had made Pepsi a true competitor to Coca-Cola. But how do you convince a king to leave his comfortable, powerful empire for a pirate ship sailing into uncharted waters? This is the story of that seduction. We will go inside the mind of Steve Jobs, the recruiter, to understand the psychological strategy that culminated in one of the most famous lines ever spoken in a boardroom. This is the mind story of how to sell a dream. John Sculley was the epitome of success. He was the youngest CEO in Pepsi's history, a marketing genius famous for the Pepsi Challenge, a brilliant campaign that used blind taste tests to prove people preferred Pepsi over Coke. He lived in a penthouse in Manhattan, had a massive salary, and commanded a global corporate army. Apple, by contrast, was a Wild West startup. Its employees wore jeans and t-shirts, they worked insane hours, and they followed the whims of their mercurial, charismatic, and often tyrannical co-founder, Steve Jobs. To lure Sculley, Jobs knew he couldn't compete on salary or stability. He had to compete on something else entirely: vision. For months, Jobs flew back and forth to New York, relentlessly courting Sculley. He wasn't just interviewing him, he was seducing him. He didn't talk about profit margins. He talked about changing the world. He took Sculley to the Macintosh lab, which was still a secret project. He unveiled the little computer, showed him the mouse, the icons, the hello that smiled on the screen. Jobs painted a picture of a future where technology wasn't for corporations but for individuals. A future where a computer could be a bicycle for the mind, amplifying human creativity. Sculley was intrigued but also terrified. All his training, his entire career, was built on predictable markets, on analyzing data, on selling a simple, known product. Apple was the opposite. It was unpredictable, intuitive, and trying to create a market that didn't yet exist. After months of deliberation, Sculley made up his mind. The risk was too great. The culture was too foreign. He was going to turn Jobs down. They met one final time on a balcony in New York. Sculley was explaining his decision, the logical reasons why he had to stay at Pepsi. Jobs listened patiently. And when Sculley was finished, Jobs didn't argue. He didn't make a counteroffer. He paused, looked him straight in the eye, and asked the question that would change both their lives forever. He's saying no after all this, all the flights, all the dinners, showing him the Mac. He's still thinking like a Pepsi executive. He's talking about his career path, his compensation, the stability. He's looking at this like a job. This isn't a job, it's a calling, it's a crusade. How can he not see that? He's a marketing guy, he should understand. This is the greatest marketing challenge of all. How to market the future, how to sell a revolution. He thinks he's selling a product, Pepsi, brown fizzy sugar water in a can. He sells it better than anyone, he's brilliant at it. But that's all it is, a temporary taste, a fleeting pleasure. What we are building, it's a tool for the mind. It's permanent. It empowers people, it creates. It doesn't just refresh. A wave of frustration, then clarity. I've tried logic. I've shown him the prototype. He's seen the magic of the mouse, the GUI. His brain is intrigued, but his gut is scared. He's comfortable. He's a king in a kingdom of sugar water. Why would he leave? I can't offer him more money. I can't offer him more security. I can only offer him one thing, a chance to be more than a brilliant salesman, a chance to be a part of history, a chance to have a legacy that isn't measured in bottles sold. Stop selling, stop pitching. Logic has failed. It's time to challenge him. Not his intellect, his soul, his ego. What does a man like this truly fear? Not losing money. He fears being forgotten. He fears his life's work being meaningless. Sugar water, that's the key. It's the perfect metaphor. It's temporary, it's trivial, it's not changing the world. I have to make him see the choice isn't between Pepsi and Apple. The choice is between a comfortable life and a meaningful one. Between being remembered as the guy who won the cola wars or the guy who helped bring computing to the people. It's not a question about business. It's a question about his life. Okay, he's finished talking. Don't hesitate. Look him in the eye and ask. And with that thought, he spoke the legendary words, "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? Or do you want to come with me and change the world?" Sculley later said it was like a punch to the gut. He knew instantly he had to go. This single question is a masterclass in persuasion built on 3 powerful principles. Principle number 1, sell the mission, not the job. Jobs understood a fundamental truth about A players. They are not primarily motivated by money. They are motivated by meaning. He didn't offer Sculley a higher salary or better perks. He offered him a mission, a crusade, a chance to be part of something historic. This is a critical lesson for any leader. To attract the best talent, you must sell a compelling vision of the future. Are you offering a list of responsibilities? Or are you offering a chance to make a dent in the universe? The best people will always choose the latter. Principle number 2, reframe the choice to appeal to legacy. The question brilliantly reframed the entire decision. It was no longer a logical choice between Pepsi, safe, known, and Apple, risky, unknown. It became an emotional, existential choice between a trivial legacy, selling sugar water, and an enduring legacy, changing the world. By trivializing Sculley's current success, Jobs hit him right in the ego, forcing him to confront the ultimate meaning of his life's work. This is an advanced persuasion technique. Don't argue within your opponent's frame. Create a new frame where you are the obvious winner. Principle number 3, the tragic irony of vision. This story also holds a darker, more complex lesson. Jobs was successful in selling his vision to Sculley, but he was ultimately unsuccessful in transferring that vision. Sculley was a brilliant marketer of existing products, but he was not an innovator. He never truly understood the dent in the universe philosophy. 2 years later, it would be Sculley who convinced the board to fire Jobs. The very man who was hired to help change the world ended up ejecting the one person who knew how. The ultimate lesson here is a sobering one. It is easier to sell a vision than it is to find someone who can truly share it. A visionary needs more than just competent managers. They need true believers. And in this case, Jobs' greatest act of persuasion led to his greatest personal tragedy. This story is a powerful playbook for persuasion and purpose that is more relevant today than ever. How can we apply this thinking to our own lives? First, if you are a leader, learn to recruit like Jobs. When you write a job description or interview a candidate, are you just listing skills and responsibilities, or are you communicating the soul of your mission? The next time you want to hire a truly great person, don't just tell them what they will be doing. Tell them why it matters, challenge them, ask them your own version of the sugar water question. Find out what truly drives them. You may find you attract a completely different caliber of talent. Second, as an individual, ask yourself the sugar water question. Look at your own career, look at your daily tasks. Are you selling sugar water? Are you doing a job that is comfortable, that pays the bills, but that doesn't ignite your soul? This isn't a judgment. Sometimes we need to sell sugar water to get by, but it's a question we must have the courage to ask ourselves periodically. Is this what I want to be remembered for? If the answer is no, it might be time to start looking for your own apple, that risky, unpredictable, but deeply meaningful adventure. Finally, choose your partners with extreme care. This is the cautionary tale within the success story. Jobs won the battle but ultimately lost the war because he chose a partner who was seduced by the vision but didn't share his DNA. When you are starting a business, choosing a co-founder or even a life partner, don't just look for skills and competence. Look for a shared set of values. Look for someone who believes in your why as deeply as you do. A brilliant partner with misaligned values is more dangerous than a less skilled partner who is a true believer. The story of how Steve Jobs hired John Sculley is the ultimate paradox. It is a testament to his incredible power of persuasion and his unwavering belief in his mission. It contains one of the most powerful lessons in recruiting and leadership you will ever hear. But it is also a tragedy. It is a story of a vision sold but not truly shared. It reminds us that the right words can move mountains, but they cannot change a person's fundamental nature. The famous question was not just a clever line, it was a distillation of Steve Jobs' entire philosophy. It forces us all to look in the mirror and ask, are we spending our limited time on this earth building something that will last, something that will make a difference, something that will change the world, or are we just selling sugar water? The choice, for Sculley then and for all of us now, is everything.